of a sudden I started learning very seriously with liberal Jews, and that was very meaningful to me.
Because you were like, I didn't know they knew Torah.
Not
Because that was my opinion. That was how I learned to see people who weren't Orthodox. Was like, they don't know anything.
You know what probably was.
And I was shocked also when they knew things.
I think for me the more honest thing is that I probably didn't respect their Torah. And when I got to it with Keva, I was at a place where I not only was able to respect it, but increase in my respect for them and for their Torah and understanding that that a certain kind of Jew doesn't have monopoly over Torah. Rather that Torah is for all Jews.
That's good. Clip that. Welcome to Yenta, everybody.
Welcome to
Yenta.
The podcast that's sometimes about comedy, sometimes about Judaism, and always about gossip.
Holy shit.
That was epic.
Today we have Tuli, who already knows what to do.
Oh my God.
This is Tuli Skaist. And I nailed his last name. And honestly, real Yentas already know about you because we've talked about you before.
Okay.
Many times.
Honestly, a couple times, because I'm such a huge fan of you. Tuli is like, you're the Jewish, you are my Jewish music Rebbe. You're who I go to with any question. And you are an incredible Jewish musician. He's also capable of facilitating Jewish music experiences that are so beyond what you've ever experienced. And you're so wise and you're fun and you can really hang. And I think you're really amazing. Also, you're like incredibly accomplished in other parts of your life. You're the executive director of your shul. You have 3 children who you've been keeping alive successfully.
Wow.
That's
huge.
big. And you're a teacher and you consult people on how to be better in their lives. And you do so many amazing things, but I could go on forever.
That's so nice.
And executive director of the shul that my dad is the president of.
Yes.
And former teacher of my partner.
Yes.
That's
Shane,
right.
Yes.
So really in the weeds of our lives.
I think I taught Jay the first year I was ever a teacher, a formal teacher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's such a delight to be here. I'm such a big fan of both of you.
Thank you.
Really.
Now you just feel like you have to say that because we said that.
Yeah. But tell us more.
I did feel a little pressure.
I knew it. You told us to interrupt you and call you out, so I'm doing it right now.
Yeah. For transparency, Tuli was like, "Don't let me be boring. Interrupt me. Don't let me get away with anything."
Which is so refreshing.
So if
honestly,
you see us just nagging him,
he
asked for it.
I asked for it.
And I honestly wish we could do this with every podcast. I wish every guest came up to us and was like, "You should interrupt me as much as possible."
Future guests, pay attention.
Pay attention. Okay, so I want to know, because Tuli, you started your journey as a Jew very, very frum.
Yeah, well,
right?
I started,
Like, how would you define it?
Like if we had to give labels?
Yeah, if we had to give labels.
And
because we love labels.
My dear friend and mentor, Judah Michel.
Shout out.
He's not going to listen to this. He says labels are for shirts.
That's cute.
But I guess we need to talk about it. No, I grew up in what's called an ultra-Orthodox home. Yeah. I think.
Okay, and Ner Yisrael. You went to Ner Yisrael.
I went to Ner Yisrael for high school.
For high school, which is like Haredi.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of the word Haredi, which is like the basically Israeli or Hebrew term for ultra-Orthodox, it means one who fears. That's literally what it means. Like Chared.
That's very poetic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like in a dark way.
Yeah, in a really dark way.
In like a scary way.
There's a lot of light there too.
Oh.
Sometimes it's not always seen, but there's a lot of light there.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in Israel in that community that self-defines itself as Haredi, and then my family moved back to the States, and that's right, I went to
Yeah.
Ner Yisrael, one of
Ner
the
Yisrael.
premier yeshivas.
Very
in
intense
America.
place,
An
listener.
intense
If you
place.
don't know, like
Yeah.
there's like lore around this place. Like I don't know. Tell us some of that lore.
Well, I was in the high school. It's the high school.
I guess it's more chill than like the grown adult yeshiva land.
In a sense,
Okay.
but it's pretty intense because you're also a lot younger,
Right.
when you're there, and
Yeah.
you know,
and you're seeing all these adults and they're
and
they're
you're living in
men
a dorm, and
they're-
it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
And look, the focus. Ner Yisrael is like, think of a college campus, university campus. That's what it is. There's a campus.
Yeah.
There's staff housing on the campus. There's a street called Yeshiva Lane where I think
Cute.
over 100 families.
I think the Beatles have an album
Yeah.
called that.
Called
Is that
Yeshiva
right?
Lane.
Yeah.
Yeshiva
Yeah, it was
Lane,
recorded
so.
in Pikesville, Maryland.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
love that one.
Yes, yeah, really good stuff.
So good.
Yeah, the I.
Oh my God.
10th
Yeah.
track.
I think their best album.
Perfect. Amazing. Yeah. This is before they went to India.
You've heard of the
after-
blue album. They have the white album. This is the blue and white album.
I thought it was the black and white album. I like it. Anyway, so I went there. I mean, at first it was really great for me, and there were parts I loved back then, and still really love
What
learning
parts?
Torah. But the rules were very intense for me. So I would, like for example, when I was in high school, I would rebel in very subtle ways.
Ooh,
Like
I like
what?
this.
Okay, like I'll tell you. So
Was it like you cuffed your sleeve up past your elbow?
see, Ray knows what's up.
Yeah, okay. It's the same for the girls.
So like for example, like when I was in like 9th and 10th grade, we had to wear a white shirt and dark pants. So I would wear a white shirt, get this, with brown buttons.
Holy shit.
I know. This
Oh
is,
my God.
yeah,
Okay, should we cut
You
that
know,
from the
that's-
podcast?
it's a little.
The two
it's-
Hashem would be
super-
disappointed. So
Yeah.
at the time, you were kind of like this. Were you rebelling because you were like, this doesn't make sense?
No.
Or you were just like,
I was, you know what it is.
a good
First of all, I like credit to my parents and to both of them. They're very and always were very open-minded people. My parents are both very well-read. I grew up with New Yorker magazines in the bathroom. Like that was that's what was going on. And so even though we were in a intense community, a very frum community, there was always this understanding of like there's a lot of different ways to be, and there's like a lot of wisdom out there, and there were like interesting ideals to maybe aspire to and to think about. And what I was hearing in yeshiva, especially as a young kid, was really a little bit not that. Was very, very intense. So those were the difficult parts for me.
right. It didn't match what you were learning in the home.
Not
kind of.
100%.
Right.
100%. I also had
Because they were like, this is the only way.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Interesting.
Right.
So your rebellion with
yeah,
the
but
brown
then I
buttons.
rebelled in like more intense ways, quote unquote. Like I got so in this is fun. I got kicked out of high school when I was a senior. Okay,
That is
Out of Ner
fun.
Yisrael?
out of Ner Yisrael.
That's good.
Twice. Twice.
You were
What happened?
twice. And when you get kicked out of it, at least back then, this is already 20 years ago. More, I'm dating myself, but yeah.
You don't look a day over 16.
Appreciate you. I hope a little bit older than 16. But
He's
you
a
know.
child.
We'd never know.
I'm a little bit. But thank you.
Yeah.
The first time I got kicked out of high school was because I was talking to girls. Now, how did they even know I was talking to girls? Because one of the girls that I was talking to called the payphone
Shut
of the yeshiva.
up.
Now, this is back in payphones.
Oh my
And they
God.
told on you?
No, and like one of the rabbis picked the payphone up.
And
like,
she said who she was.
she was like
trying to
I,
talk
I,
to?
I, like the details
Oh,
are
no.
honestly, yeah. But and so I got
That's
kicked.
so
that was number
funny.
one.
That's-
And then basically the way it was is you get kicked out and then you got to kind of beg your way back in.
Yeah. Ugh.
Time number two, which was even more intense, was this is like towards, I guess, middle of 12th grade. I guess, just stopped caring. It was a Sunday afternoon. I was sitting in my dorm room with a friend. We were drinking beer and we were blasting Guns N' Roses. And I don't know which was worse.
It had to be the Guns N' Roses.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
See, you know, right?
You're
Yeah,
allowed
yeah, Ray
to.
knows.
I mean,
Ray knows.
it was a Purim. You were drinking beer.
But it was not
yeah,
Purim,
I
and
know.
it-
I know.
but yeah, but you're right.
But boys can drink beer. Girls can't drink.
Right.
Girls would have gotten kicked out more for the beer than the
music.
Yeah.
My God, this is like
It's real
every
lore.
morsel I hear about your lives is
It's so
so
good.
crazy. That the beer's not the problem. Like, wow,
I love that.
I really love that.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
So you were kind of always like, so were you believing in it and you were still like rebelling at the same time, or how did that work for you?
Yeah, it wasn't a thing. That the whole thing of maybe this is a personality thing, but my rebellion historically, it's in quotes, had much less to do with belief and much more to do with just wanting to expand and to explore. It wasn't so much, even though I think I am an intellectual person, but it wasn't like, oh, I have these intellectual issues with like, is there a God? Is there not a God?
Right. You were like a teenager.
Yeah, it was more like I'm looking for meaning. I'm searching, and you're not letting me go on a journey. You're not letting me, I just I want to play music. I want to listen to cool music. Like I just want to do things.
But did they do the thing that they were like, Jews ask questions?
Not in high school.
No? Oh, okay.
I mean, a little bit.
Really?
They would do that like in a certain context, like in the context of like, sure, like when you're learning Gemara, exactly. Then absolutely ask as many questions as possible. But I didn't even. For me, it wasn't the questions thing because I also grew up in a home where questions were legitimately okay. I didn't hear from my parents, "Oh, you can't ask that."
Okay.
There were definitely things we didn't talk about, but it wasn't because I didn't hear like, "Oh, don't ask that. You can't ask that." No, it was ask all the questions.
It's like I feel like whenever I'm talking to non-Jews and I'm like really trying to like make Judaism sound so cool, I really lean heavily on the thing where I'm like, it's like there's not the burden of belief. You can like
do it without believing it.
You can do it without believing it. You can have space to like figure it out because you can go along with all the practices and rituals while you believe or not believe. And like that feels like a real selling point of Judaism. But does that align with your experience in these yeshivas?
It's an interesting point. I mean, you're totally right? Like, it's true. You don't have to be a believer to be a Jew, right? Not everyone knows that, but you know that.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's definitely like, it's a mitzvah to believe in God. It is.
Is it?
It is, absolutely. Like,
an official?
Yeah. I mean...
which implies that there's an alternative.
Do you have a source?
You know what I mean?
Okay, so maybe not the word belief, maybe not the word, but certainly like loving God, fear of God,
right?
Knowledge of God, even right according to Maimonides, like
these are
knowing
on
God.
the list.
Again, we got to go through the list.
Okay.
I don't want to, but yeah, like things along those lines are on the list. So it's not that belief or knowledge of God or a relationship with God is not really important to Judaism. I don't want to to the practice parts of Judaism. And honestly, for me, like I do believe, like I used to have this thing where I would say, look, I'm much more after, like what I'm after really is meaning, less so than truth. I've been rethinking that framework a little bit lately.
How?
See, it's interesting. The word for this is like really half-baked, like not even half-baked. Like we just put it in the oven. Like I'm really working through this. But like one thing I've thought about, like the word for truth in Hebrew is, right?
MS.
Emet or MS.
Hey.
That's right. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Okay.
this is the what's his face? Golem.
The golem is Emet? Oh, it was written. That's
It's
what was written
Emet.
on the golem. Okay.
Written,
fine, okay.
right?
Maybe I don't remember that. That sounds right.
I know Golem.
Okay, yeah. For the golemologists out there.
Listener, write in.
Okay, no, you're probably right. So emet is truth, but emet also comes from the word amiti, like what's real, because what is true and what is real are connected, right? So ultimately, there are certain things where it's difficult to know factually what is true and what is not true. But there is a point in time where you say, this is real for me. Like something is real for me. Like this is my reality. This is where, so.
It's real for me versus objectively true. Is that what you're saying?
Objectively true. I think you gotta. Yeah.
No, I like it there.
You like it there?
I have tape. Listener, I have tape on my
perfect.
face
Okay, great.
from our new studio.
And was like having understanding, was truth important?
So truth
you?
was definitely important in the spaces I was going, and truth was important. I'm not saying it wasn't important at all. It definitely is. But I do think that ultimately there were times where even if I were to like explore it till the end, or if I had questions, my thing would be like, okay, well, right now I'm going to do what's meaningful to me, and certain things are really meaningful to me, and it's okay even if I can't prove it to you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that. I mean, that's
There's a lot
basically
I
my
can't do.
Judaism.
Same.
Is what's meaningful to me versus like, oh, I believe this to be true.
Yeah, I think meaningful. Right. The only place where I'm going now is like I want to make things like to figure out what is my reality, and what is can I get closer to truth in certain elements, and I don't know. But I mean I'm.
What do you tell your kids?
Well, here's the thing. Also, I believe in God. I want to put that out there. Like,
Okay.
and I'm fine with that. I actually don't even I'm not saying I've never had questions or stuff like that, but
Yeah.
for me, like that's a part of my thing.
Yeah.
Your whole thing.
The thing.
I'm a believer.
I think
You're bringing out in the world.
I believe in God too, but I feel like our versions of God might be different.
How so?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Why? What do you think my version
Well,
of God is?
I know.
Do they wear different clothing?
Yeah.
Does your God wear a kippah?
My God is like a girl, and she's cute, and she uses they them pronouns.
Do you have?
She
it?
uses they them pronouns.
But she uses she and they and interchangeably, and she's like
course.
cool about it.
I'm down.
Same God.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Without question.
Well, I tell my dad this all the time. God is non-binary, right? Because we use male and female verb conjugations to describe God throughout the Torah.
There's the feminine element of God. There's the masculine element
and in
of God.
Hebrew, how we talk about non-binary people in Hebrew, and like in modern Israeli Hebrew, is we use both male and female conjugations of verbs to describe non-binary people.
Yes.
This your feeling about meaning. I have like a whole bit that I feel like you haven't seen in my stand-up that I do in like Reform spaces, which is that like the Reform Jews have gone so hard into doing it for the meaningfulness that they've gone so far that if they don't have a whisper of meaning at the beginning, they're like, it's not worth my time. And that has really backfired and has gotten rid. It means that Reform Jews have no reason to do any observances that could be meaningful down the line.
Yeah.
Like, sure, maybe keeping kosher down the line, you'll find a lot of meaning in it. If it's not up at the top, they're not going to do it. And I say this, listeners, as someone deep in the Reform movement. So I'm talking shit about my own people.
It's not just
we
Reform
can.
Jews.
But it's so
Who else?
It's a lot of Jews and a lot of people. Like, I mean, here's the thing: to really have meaningful experiences, I think takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have inspirational experiences. That's good. So what's inspiring, that's good. But to really get meaning, I think could take a lot of work to really
Like
get
what?
to.
Give
don't
an
know,
example.
yeah.
Yeah, so for me, Torah learning is a very meaningful experience. But one of the reasons for that is because I've put in so much time into Torah learning, and it wasn't always very meaningful. And sometimes it was just really hard work, trying to learn language, trying to learn structure, trying to learn how to learn, like how to ask questions, and then you get to a place where sometimes there's meaning, and then you learn about like, oh well, why am I even learning Torah in the first place, and why is that central to what I do and all that, and like that's something that you work hard at that is very meaningful, but it's not like easy at all.
yeah. There are different ways to experience meaning, and a lot of Jews are missing out. A lot of Jews in the progressive movement are missing out on the meaning that comes after putting in
work.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I think that's with anything.
Definitely.
Like anything, you get more meaning the more
Absolutely.
work you put into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just that, like in the progressive world, there's no narrative that
Of doing the work.
there might be meaning at
Right.
the end of all the work. It's like, have you ever read C.S. Lewis?
The Narnia guy?
Narnia guy.
Yeah.
He, big Christian.
Oh, yeah.
big Christian.
The whole thing is
Narnia,
like a Christian
Jesus,
allegory.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you read Narnia?
I did not.
It's about
There
I
you
grew up without a TV. There you
yeah,
go.
don't worry
Sorry.
about it. Jesus is a lion. It's
Interesting.
and he has this amazing book, a nonfiction book called Surprised by Joy, which is his book about his Christian journey, about how as a kid he was like searching for these moments of connection, meaning, joy. It's hard to put a word to what it is, but I feel like we're all talking about it. He would call it joy. And as a kid, he would spend every night trying to like pray hard enough that he would get to that connection feeling, and it would drive him crazy, and it becomes obsessive. And
Very interesting.
And that was sort of like a deep struggle his whole life, that like he would obsessively search out that feeling of meaning, and it would drive him crazy because the harder you obsess over it, the less likely it is to come. And so he started as an adult realizing that it would kind of sneak up out of nowhere when he was intensely focused on something else. That when he was like intensely focused on helping somebody else, out of the corner of his eye, like in would come what he calls joy. Or if he's intensely focused on studying the Bible, in the corner comes joy. And it's a fascinating book about how focusing, when you walk towards meaning or you walk towards joy, it makes it really hard to attain.
It has to come by accident.
If you walk really hard towards something else, that journey will sort of bring it in on the sides.
What does Judaism say about that?
I can't speak for Judaism.
Yeah.
No.
Because I feel like my version of Orthodoxy would say, no, you have to work really hard on that thing.
So here's what
and then you'll get there.
Here's what comes to mind.
Yeah.
Here's what comes to mind. At first, when you were describing it, I was thinking that a lot of that to me sounds like inspiration, and I think inspiration is important and has its place. But for me, that's different than meaning. For me, the meaning is a little bit more in the conclusion of what you were saying, right? Like it's a little bit harder to attain and more long lasting. Like when we're sitting and singing, that's very inspiring. And ultimately there could be, if used in a certain way, you can maybe use it to make other parts of your service meaningful. Like, for example, like Antonia, you and I have talked about this, right? Like sometimes Hasidim, right? Hasidic Jews, especially Chabad Hasidim, but other Hasidim too. The way in which they use nigunim, right?
Songs without words.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Like devotional songs. Or one way in which they use it is like almost as a meditation device or a contemplation device to like internalize and make meaning of the other stuff that of the other parts of their life. So that it's not just inspiration, which is important and great, but it's also like this way to like bring everything together, to make you whole in a sense. Yeah.
Nigunim, right, which are these songs that usually don't have words that you repeat over and over. To me, like they do a really good job of emphasizing this thing that we all have trouble putting words on, which is like meaning, or C.S. Lewis might call it joy, or someone might call it like touching God or transcendence, and nigunim do a really good job of like lifting that up so that it can be seen, and even if you're not putting words on it. And wait, where was I going with that? I don't know.
But you guys are experts in nigunim.
But can we talk a little Jewish music?
Yeah, let's talk some Jewish music.
Let's go.
Let's do it. So yeah, I'll finish my own story on part 2 or something.
No, finish it.
Well, okay. Well, I'll just tell you. The very short version is that after high school, I went and studied in Israel at a yeshiva that was a little bit different than my high school. Also, very, very religious, but in a little bit of a different flavor, more religious Zionist. And then the long story short is, ended up going back to the States, met my wife, got married pretty young, but continued my journey, which I'm still on, to different degrees. I mean, there were
You moved to LA.
moved to LA almost right away in 2011.
Like right after yeshiva.
Not right after yeshiva. I lived in New York for a few years, finished college.
And then came here for a
came
job.
out to teach at Yenta-heads High School.
Yeah.
And
then met your wife.
No. We
you both
were
came
already
in.
married.
Wow.
We got married at age 22.
Oh my God.
We met at 19. We met in Israel.
What?
Oh my
Yes.
God.
She was the one you were talking to. No, that was
not-
Neri
that was-
Yisrael. She was the one that got you
Close.
kicked
Exactly.
out.
She did that.
But you wouldn't get kicked out of Shalavim for talking to a girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Which seminary did she go to?
She went to Tiferet.
I know
know
about
Tiferet.
Tiferet. Yeah.
Have you met Ruthie?
I've met her for like 1 second at
Okay.
Shabbat
She
recently
is
at the Happy Minion.
So cool.
Yeah.
Like, I just want the listeners to understand
Yeah.
that Tuli's wife is so cool. And she's
An
so
artist,
funny. She's an
talented,
amazing artist.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big win
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Can I plug her art?
Yeah.
RMS Artwork. I think that's her website. RMS Artwork.
What kind of art is it?
She's got all different styles of art. She's a true artist. I hope that doesn't offend you.
I don't know. I'll think
But don't
about
worry,
it.
I don't. She doesn't introduce herself in that way. Actually, she really is an artist.
Yeah,
Like, she really
if you're
is.
a visual
Yeah,
artist,
if you're a visual artist,
I
you
think you
can.
can say it. We're referring to how I bullied Jonah Feingold in the previous episode
And
for calling
I
himself
am
an artist.
resolute on my opinion that I am an artist.
The comedic
You're
artist.
allowed
Yeah.
to say artist.
Okay, I like it.
So you
The
you and
Judaic arts.
Ruthie. So you and Ruthie, you're already married. You moved to LA.
We're already married, moved to
Yeah.
LA, and then without getting into all
LA
these.
Jewish scene is much more chill.
Well, I was already on a bit of a journey, right?
Okay.
Like in New York, I was starting to attend a shul that was like a little bit more liberal.
Which one?
That's HIR in the Hebrew Institute of Riverdale, Rabbi Avi Weiss's shul.
Oh yeah. Avi Weiss.
Yeah.
He did Chovevei.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did Chovevei. Where
What's that?
And Yeshivat Maharat for women.
Oh,
Shua
Maharat.
Rabbi Brick went there.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And I know Maharat.
He's
but
he's an amazing person, Rabbi Avi Weiss. He's,
I don't know.
Done a lot.
I've heard
in his
good things.
Like he's amazing.
Come on the pod, Avi Weiss, Rabbi Weiss.
I want. Yeah, that would be cool. That'd
Someone
be cool.
someone listening
he's-
knows him. Just send this to him.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
That'd be
He's
sick.
really wonderful. He's
If
yeah.
we just had like the mix of like really queer people, like comedians saying their sex stories, and then the
Rabbis.
most religious.
yeah.
This is Mashiach
This is
energy.
Yenta.
This is
Mashiach
Yenta.
energy.
Hey,
Yeah, you listen to Modi.
speaking-
Yeah.
I
Okay,
like it.
so then you were
So,
already on your
and so
journey.
the long story short is that I've been on a bit of a journey to
Was it hard? Did you have to like face guilt or?
yes, yeah, there
Yeah.
were definitely hard parts
Yeah.
to that, and to the extent where there were a few years there that I really didn't want to have a lot to do with Jewish practice in the way that I have it today. But I think I came back to like some sort of medium where I.
How old were you? Was it with?
My 20s. Let's call it
Yeah.
my 20s. My 20s.
While
and
you
early
were
30s.
married?
Well, while I was married, yeah.
And were you going on the journey together?
In
or-
a sense, together and independently. Yeah, together and each one of us on our own journey
Yeah.
and independently, and to a place where that brought me to different places. I did work, with first, like one of the first things is that I did this thing called Keva. That's how I know David
Casher?
Casher, Rabbi Casher, where all of a sudden I started learning very seriously with liberal Jews, and that was very meaningful to me. And then I did work with
because you were like, I didn't know they knew Torah.
not
Because that was my that was my opinion. That was how I learned to see people who weren't Orthodox. Was like they don't know anything.
You know what probably was.
And I was shocked also when they knew things.
I think for me the more honest thing is that I probably didn't when I was in high school. Not that I didn't think they knew Torah or learned Torah. I probably didn't respect their Torah. And when I got to it with Keva, I was at a place where I not only was able to respect it, but increase in my respect for them and for their Torah and understanding that that a certain kind of Jew doesn't have monopoly over Torah.
Yeah.
Rather, that Torah is for all Jews.
that's good. Clip that.
Clip that. Wait, can we talk a little bit about like the things you've noticed now being in these liberal Jewish spaces? Like,
Sure.
what are our cultural quirks?
The thing is with a lot of liberal Jewish spaces, And what I'd say probably the big difference between like Orthodox spaces, or at least the way I grew up in, it's like a different direction. Liberal Jewish spaces, from my experience, are basically they're very American spaces, at least in America. They're very American spaces that also have Judaism and maybe even a lot of Judaism infused into them, and that's beautiful. But the direction from which a lot of the Orthodox spaces that I grew up in they're not American. I mean, they are like they're in America, but they're coming from like the start is like a very Jewish space, and then with some American, culture infused into them a little bit, but like the whole thing is like Jewish from start to finish. Not that the other ones are not Jewish; they're Jewish.
What do you mean by American? Like polite?
No, like Western, like American culture. Like people, they're made up of people who are. I mean, this is
like they watch TV.
Yeah, way overly stereotypical. That have a lot more in common with.
Like secular,
non-Jews. Right, exactly.
Christian America.
Yeah, like with the people that they maybe work with or hang out with.
They hang out with non-Jews.
Yeah, like
which
exactly.
is crazy.
Yeah. No, like that's their culture.
Yeah,
their culture might be like whatever it might be, and this is like some extra thing maybe that they're doing on the weekend, or like they're trying to create something a little bit different here. Whereas in a lot of Orthodox spaces, like that's just like it's like a fish in water. Like they're just like like they don't think
Yes,
do you agree?
And it's why like liberal Jews, like we take every tiny ritual so seriously because we're like, this is it. We're squeezing all of our Jewish identity for the week into lighting this candle. And then every time I'm around Orthodox spaces, fish and water is it. You're just, this is just life. I'm just Jewish all the time.
Right. It's like the first time Antonia invited me to, or when we talked about like
singing circle.
Yeah, like a singing circle. I was like, what's a singing circle?
Like what?
Just sit and sing. You gotta make a circle to like what are we doing? Like I don't understand.
Like, no, we have to make time for it.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. There's a lot that I think Orthodox Jews can learn from actually taking some of these things very seriously and being intentional.
Yeah.
And thinking about what is it that we're actually doing here? Like that's great.
But there is something so special about the spontaneity of like impromptu singing circle. What we wouldn't call it that.
Spectacular.
But like there's just people there that they just want to sing because they're like, let's do this.
Yeah.
But then obviously, then you still have your people on the other side that are like schmoozing and eating, and then you have the energy from the people singing for the people. It's like, they're both really nice.
I feel like one of Judaism's best qualities is our obsession with balance, and like we're seeing that there's a balance that is slightly out of whack here, where like in an Orthodox world you can get too casual because it's so mundane, and in a Reform world you can get overly precious because it's so rare. And the Jewish thing is to realize that there's things to take from both.
Totally.
Balance.
Okay. Wait, you said that you had a hot take about how the role of the rabbi
Oh, you want to go there?
Yeah.
I think that I hear it. I think that rabbis, I don't even know the way to put this, but basically I think rabbis are too powerful.
Are you a rabbi?
I'm not.
Okay.
You're not?
I don't identify as one.
But are you technically?
smicha?
I don't have smicha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that.
I
So it's
see.
coming
So
from the outside. Because I thought you were...
Yeah, and outside, inside. Like, here's the thing, right? Like I spent a lot of years in yeshiva. Let's put it this way, right? Like
You could get smicha if you want to very easily.
I think I can.
That's what my brother says. He's like, I can get it next week if I want. He just doesn't want.
That's like, I could have played pro football.
Yeah.
No. If I hadn't, I broken my leg, I would be a rabbi right now.
I actually think it is really easy.
Well, this is back to our other conversation, right? In the more liberal world,
right.
the more liberal you are, the more becoming a rabbi is like, whoa, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You got to go to... You got to take the GRE and then go to rabbinical.
That's why it attracts such nerds, because it's like, who else is going to put up with
No, but
all
by the way,
of this learning?
Yeah.
love all of them. They're amazing people. Just for
Love
the
them all.
record.
Love them all.
Some of my best friends are Reform rabbis.
And I have a friend
Not
that's
even
Reform
kidding,
as
actually.
well.
But whereas where I grew up, like everyone was called rabbi. All my friends' dads were rabbi this, rabbi that, rabbi this, rabbi that. I didn't ask them to see their smicha or whatever, but
Yeah.
they're very well educated, highly educated. But no, what my point is, this happens in liberal spaces especially, but also in plenty of Orthodox spaces, especially in the more liberal, where we basically say the rabbi is basically the Jewish person, the carrier of all the knowledge. And like the way that Torah learning looks in a lot of spaces is this. Just people sitting there and listening to someone lecture at them, speak to them. Now, I love a good lecture. I love a good speech. I love a good class. But
Some of my best friends are lectures.
Yeah, myself included. I could lecture all day long. I love it. I really enjoy learning that way. But also, Torah learning is active, and the way to do that is to actually do it. And everyone could learn Torah. I think that rabbis, the job of what a good rabbi does, in my opinion, is empowers people to study Torah, empowers people to do mitzvot, empowers people to be Jewish, not just for them, not just to look at them being Jewish and like live vicariously through them. Yeah.
Not just to listen to their lecture, you mean?
Not just to listen to their lecture, or not just like there shouldn't be that big of a difference between a rabbi and a non-rabbi. It's just a job title. It's about what they do.
Well, I feel like people look to rabbis for leadership.
Leadership, yes.
Leadership
Yes.
and shilas, and
Great.
you have to answer questions.
What's shilas?
Like
Questions, halachic questions.
halachic questions.
Yes,
Yeah.
guidance. That's all good. That's the role of a rabbi.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A rabbi should do that. They should guide people. They should
That's
answer
a big
halachic
difference.
questions. They should lead the community.
Yeah.
But in terms of Jewish
a
practice,
reform rabbi, they're also leading every single prayer service and all the programming at the synagogue and the political angle of the synagogue and the administrative angle. They're in charge of so much. They're priests.
Yeah, and they're doing the Jewish, and other people are like, I don't need to do.
Right.
Like, no, the practice of a rabbi and a non-rabbi should be very similar.
The practice, you mean in terms of the
In terms
day-to-day
of how they are Jewish, not in terms of their job, not in terms of what they're leading, not in terms of their job description, but in terms of their relationship to Judaism.
Yeah.
Should be much closer.
That's nice. I like that.
In the liberal world, it's just like the rabbi holds the keys to Judaism, and you're like, well, like I'm not gonna learn how, like, why you open the ark. They're in charge of knowing that.
Correct.
You know, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
You're on point. I talked to someone who's a Jewish history professor about this a little while ago, and they were pointing to something about the reform movement trying to mirror Christianity, where the priests really do have that power. I mean, especially in Catholicism, they really are a step closer to the divine. And so that sometime recently in the American Jewish history, we overpowered our liberal rabbis in this way.
For the record, this happens in a lot of Orthodox spaces too. And so this is not a reform issue or even just a like liberal. This does happen in spaces.
What?
This idea that it's just like the rabbi who's like the knowledgeable one, whereas everyone else is like, I don't really, I could just come and show up and like listen a little and then,
But there is such like the focus on the rabbi and the Chabad rabbi and the Hasidic rabbi. Like, I have like little rabbi baseball cards.
Sure.
Like, there's so much.
Yeah.
But a lot of those rabbis, like great rabbis. Okay, so like where I grew up, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
No, take it.
I'll take it.
Take it.
Whatever.
You deserve it.
Okay.
Treat yourself.
No, I love this example. Like my dad likes to talk about this, or at one point he did, where he was once at this like lecture of a big rabbi, a really like important rabbi, and the rabbi said something. All of a sudden, someone shouted out from the crowd and started arguing with them, and they just went back and forth for a little, and then went on for the thing. Because the point is that in there are certain spaces. Again, this is hard to say about like all Orthodox spaces because it's definitely not true. But there are certain spaces where at the end of the day, it's about how much you know, and there are people that. There are just a lot of people that are very, very knowledgeable, and
Judaism is a trivia
Exactly.
competition.
Yeah, that could be a
Antonia
problem.
has a very
I've got
good
a
joke
bit
about
about
that.
Yeah, that's a good.
It's not.
That's a good
It's
bit.
not a race. It's not a religion. It's not an ethnicity. It's a trivia competition.
That's a good bit.
Yeah.
That's a good bit. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I like that. I like that.
It's so true in Orthodox spaces too.
In many
It's,
spaces.
Everyone's,
Also you could get lost in that, and that's a problem.
And every space has like different knowledge that they value the most.
Yeah.
Like in Orthodox spaces, it's
this-
Torah, it's Judaism, and in Reform spaces, it's like political organizing. Hi Yentas, this is Antonia here from the future to tell you about this episode's sponsor, the Mandel Cultural Leadership Program, which is currently accepting applications for its second cohort. I was in the first cohort, which is why they wanted me to tell you about it. It's a fellowship for artists from any discipline who are either Jewish or making work about Jewish culture. And honestly, when I tell you it's like the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, it really is. And you should actually think about applying. It's a 2-year fellowship where they give you a $40,000 stipend and they get you a personal advisor from your field. They schlep you all over the world. They introduce you to great artists. When I tell you it's as good as it sounds, it literally is. Applications close February 13th, so go to mandelinstitute.org for more information. And remember, this is for artists from all disciplines, as long as you're cute. They told me I had to say that. They were like, they have to be cute. And I was like, don't worry. They listen to Yenta. They're already cute. So thank you to Mandel for sponsoring this episode, and let's get back to the goss.
We're back.
So,
gossip, but not in a Lashon Hara way, just to be very explicit.
Yes.
Because a lot of Orthodox Jews hear the pod and they're like, you want to do Lashon Hara?
Right.
For fun?
Right.
Did you have that experience or no?
Yeah, I heard the word. I heard
It's like,
gossip, and I was like, "That's negative. Like that's not good."
Yeah. It's a real, and it's a real. You're trained every day. Don't gossip. Don't gossip. No. So it's a real like bodily aversion.
When you were a kid, did you listen to like any like Jewish children's tapes or
Uncle Moishi?
Okay, Uncle Moishi, but like
Big one.
in that genre. Where they're teaching you about like
gossip.
Don't speak Lashon Hara.
Yeah, I'm sure.
With like songs like Don't Speak Lashon Hara.
Is that what your kids listen to?
They don't, but that's what I listen to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember a specific Lashon Hara song, but I'm sure
Stuff
there
like
was.
that.
Yeah.
It's in there
It's
for
in
sure.
there. So I wanted to hold space for that.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I wasn't really sure what gossip is, but I have a couple of. I figured I'd give you a funny story from my childhood. I don't know if that's gossip. You can tell me if it isn't.
we'll let you know.
I'm open.
Yeah.
Hey,
We're not shy.
Speaking of which, in this podcast, I have not heard enough enough criticism.
You're so right. We'll go in
I'm
hard
looking
now.
for a roast. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you, you and your fuzzy sweater.
Okay. Ray's not
sweater.
Ray's not comfortable enough.
I'm
yet.
not.
I
I'm
know.
absolutely not.
How do I get
I'm
you
gonna
there?
own that.
How do I get you there?
It's
We need to have you over for Shabbat dinner.
maybe.
Yeah, we
no.
need to humanize you a little more. Take you down a couple pegs.
Yeah.
For Ray to.
Because you're such a holy rabbi in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to stay there. And yes, and
Just imagine Tuli every morning getting that nice horizontal line on the mustache.
not every morning.
It's a strong mustache.
Not every morning. I wish.
It's a strong horizontal line
It's a
that
strong
you've got
You
going.
have little scissors, like mustache scissors?
I do not.
No.
What? How are you doing it?
With a machine, with a
With a
with a
trimmer?
trimmer?
trimmer.
Whoa, that feels much harder.
Do I need a scissor?
Let me tell you, Ray can tell you about scissoring.
Oh, here it goes.
I'm like turning red. Okay.
There's almost a part
was
of
that
me
your
that
gossip?
there's always a part of me that likes
That was so good. That
Yeah.
was fast. I like that.
There's a part of me that it's not that I like it, but I'm slightly amused. Whenever anyone like treats me like a rabbi, there's like a slight part of me that's just like amused, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the vibes I'm getting from you a little bit, which is all
You're
good.
amused by
No.
me. Well, it's also weird because like you're like at the same shul as my dad. Like
Very
it's
much,
like it's
very
on
much
top
so.
of that. You
Very
know,
much so.
like if you were just a regular rabbi,
It's true.
I could be a little bit more chill maybe. But I'm so
But
not.
I'm
chill.
not regular, nor am I
No,
rabbi,
you're
so,
not.
yeah, not worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, gossip. So
Yeah.
okay. Here's a funny story. Well, I shouldn't say funny story. Take that out because I always hate when people say,
Enough
"Oh, we got-"
contextualizing.
Yeah. Just go. Also,
Childhood.
do you really want me to take it out, or can I
No,
leave? Okay,
I'm just
good.
joking.
Okay.
When I was a kid living in Israel, one morning my mom gave me a 10 shekel, or maybe it was 5 shekel piece and said, on your way to school, go buy yourself something. I don't know, a drink, whatever. I must have been 9 at the time, maybe a little younger. No, 9. Anyway, I walked to school. This is in Israel. Okay, I stop at what's called a makolet. That's like a little bodega, a little grocery store. It was right before Purim time. And on the shelf, I saw these small mini bottles of wine. And it was the same kind of wine that my family drinks for Kiddush, for every Friday night for Kiddush. It's called Fantasia.
Oh.
It's a sweet,
sounds
bubbly,
high end.
Fantasia.
Very classy.
It's a sweet, red, bubbly wine. Okay? And I thought to myself, I like Fantasia. I should probably just buy a bottle for school.
Great idea.
So I, 9-year-old self, took the bottle, went up and paid for it.
The guy just hands it to you.
Let you.
Does not give a fuck.
No questions asked. No questions asked.
Because you're in Harediville
Correct.
in Israel. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And does that mean that they're just like, well, he probably has a good reason?
I don't
Or
know.
they're just like, I don't care.
Maybe they just assumed I was buying it
For your
my
parents.
or
Yeah.
something like
Because
that.
like that's a thing where like there's like 12, 15 kids. It's
Right.
like the kids become the parents.
Right.
And they're like, when we were just in Israel, like wandering around, like there's like 7-year-old boys just walking alone on the street.
Yes.
In like
Yes.
in like in Geula in Jerusalem, you know, it's
Yeah.
like they're
This
on
I-
their
thi-
own.
thi- that I love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I took the bottle, and I guess I had enough wisdom to not really bring it with me to school. But I thought to myself, let me just drink this. I love this stuff. I'm just gonna drink it on my way to school.
Oh, like a juice.
Yeah.
A juice, put a little
delicious.
straw in it.
No, I just So I opened it up. I'm walking to school by myself, drinking my wine.
So you'd had wine before.
Just a little bit
I
on a
see.
Friday night.
But you didn't
Right.
know.
And this time you had a whole bottle. That's great.
Yeah, just a whole mini bottle of wine. And then I was just shocked by the fact that I was for some mysterious reason, I was very dizzy by the time I got to school, slurring my words. And
so funny.
just got into class and put my head down and passed out for the next 2 hours.
And the rabbis were like, this is normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did any adult say anything?
I didn't, and then I once that happened, and like I put some pieces together. I said, "Oh wow, I probably shouldn't have done that." And that's what happens when you drink too much wine and whatever. But yeah, I didn't tell my parents for years.
And none of the teachers caught on.
No,
So you just showed up drunk to school.
as a 9-year-old,
And nobody knew
nobody knew.
or cared.
Okay.
There's
I
not a
love
lot
that.
that can be said for the American public schools, but I will say
I think they would
probably
notice.
catch on if a kid was drunk.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, who am I to say?
I don't know.
Maybe they wouldn't.
That's funny.
Okay, that's pretty good.
It's okay.
We
prefer.
What do you? Okay, tell me
We prefer more modern stories.
is-
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a childhood story.
Kids
It's a cop
do-
out. It's a
yeah.
cop out.
Kids
It is
do
a little
crazy
bit of a
things.
cop out.
Everyone does crazy things.
It's funny.
You know?
It's a good story,
Yeah.
but
It is
it's
a good
not
story.
like juicy, current
Juicy.
gossip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But gossip as in an interesting
Right.
story
It's not
about
ruining
yourself.
anyone's life.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Like,
not ruining.
come
anyone's
on.
life.
Another way we've defined it is like a secret, but it doesn't have to be like a real secret. You know, like a secret about yourself that you would.
What was your other one that you brought?
The other one that I brought was also a good story, in my opinion, but I don't think it's going to fit your category. Any way you could prompt me? Okay, I like this. I'm trying to think. A secret,
Yeah.
like something about myself that. Oh, here's a good piece of gossip. This is like a quote unquote vulnerable piece, but it's actually, I think this is a good one. I wet my bed almost throughout my entire high school career, and I was in yeshiva. Back to the beginning of the conversation, I was in boarding school the entire time.
God.
And I'll tell you, okay, a great story about that is that, well, there's stories about it, but for many years I was like so ashamed of it and embarrassed to talk about it. And only in the last couple of years I was like, oh my God, this is just what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was telling one of my close friends from high school. I don't have one of them anyway, and I tell him about this. I was like, yeah, it was so hard, and like every day I'm like trying to figure out like how do I hide this, because I was like my whole thing I need to hide.
How
the
many
fact-
kids
with
were
my
in
bed.
your dorm? In your room?
Like 60? No, in my
your
room. It was 3 of us.
Okay.
3 of us, sometimes 4, but 3
3 to.
or 4. Yeah, 3 or 4 in a room. And and there's silence at the end of the line. I'm like, and he's like, I thought I was the only one. So both of us have gone through high school, wetting our beds.
And that's the importance of sharing
yes,
gossip.
Share gossip. Share especially
secret.
when you're suffering a little bit. When you're like, you got to share it.
And that's what I've been saying about this podcast.
Yes, we're saving the world.
Saving people from shame. We're freeing people from their shame.
That is a worthy cause.
Thank you. That's what Yenta is.
We'll take it, Rabbi.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much
for being here. I like it when you call me
that.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This was super fun.
You're great.
Great.
We love you.
Appreciate it.
Come back.
I love you back.
Top tier Yenta.
Really an honor.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Okay. Also, listeners, we love you. If you're here, go to our Patreon. You'll love it.
Patreon.com/Yenta, Yenta matchmaking, Yenta bonus episodes. That's it. Have you heard about our Yenta matchmaking?
I have.
You have?
Yes.
From who? From Antonia.
From
us.
No, because I watched a full podcast last night.
I would love.
Yeah, you described it.
I would love to get.
Is it only queer matchmaking?
No, everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm sure people come to you all the time being like,
Although,
do you have someone for me?
Just for the record, and this is like post-pod, but like this is, meaning in terms of my question, like, is this queer, right? I'm talking to two people who identify as queer, both not in classic queer relationships.
I like that. I like that.
So so important to note.
Important.
We'll talk about queer theory next time I come.
Exactly. You're so good at it.
Of course, this is my thing. It's my thing.
You're obsessed.
It's my thing. That's what I like to talk about.
Patreon.com/Yenta. We love you so
Yes.
much. Thank you for being here.